Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you how to install Windows from a USB drive on your MSI Stealth. To install Windows from a USB drive, you'll need to have, first I'm gonna explain why you can do this. So first of all, if your drive is locked, if you don't know the password, or if you don't have any system on your laptop, there are multiple reasons. Remember that installing the fresh copy of Windows will delete everything what's on your drive, but it's pretty great. For example, if you've bought a used laptop that's locked with a password, any reason for it is honestly great and it always works. So for that, if you don't have any system or cannot access the system that's on your laptop right now, then you'll need to use another Windows PC that has internet access, and also you'll need a USB drive that has at least 8 GB, I believe, but if it has more, then it'll be even better. Mine has actually 64, but it's honestly, you don't need as much. And first I'm gonna take the other laptop before we continue, and also I need to warn you that there's a low possibility, but there is one, that you won't have Wi-Fi drivers installed by default. So if that happens, then you will need to get a Ethernet cable and plug it into your router and to your laptop, but there's a low possibility, and I think you can just get that in some public places, like libraries or something. You can just ask if you don't have it at home to connect with to wired network, and it'll only be used at the last part of the setup. So don't really worry about it. And first I'm gonna go to that second Windows PC, because here we'll need to, okay, I'm just gonna log in. And you need to plug in the drive that you want to install Windows on. So I have plugged it in now, and we need to go first to the browser. Of course, you may also just currently already have the bootable drive, but you can, for example, buy it from Microsoft, but I wouldn't buy it honestly because it's expensive. Although it's just all up to you. And we need to, if we don't have the bootable USB, we need to find it first. So let me switch the keyboard. Just search for Windows 11 ISO and go to the Microsoft website. Don't go into any weird websites that may be here, like some 11 forum, whatever. Go to the Microsoft, the one that says Microsoft.com. Now scroll down until you find download Windows 11 disk image for x64 devices and select Windows 11, then click on download now. Then choose the product language and click on confirm. Now click on 64-bit download. Then you can see that it's being downloaded at the moment, so it'll take a moment. I'm gonna pause it because I already have the file, but in the meantime you can go to other website, which is rufus.ie, and here you'll need to scroll down until you find the downloads, and most probably you'll need to download the first version. If it doesn't work, then probably it'll be the third one if you have a very old device. Of course, this is for the device we're creating the bootable drive on, not for your MSI Stealth. So it just depends. If your device is really, really old, then maybe it'll work, the third one. So now I'm gonna open it, and you can see here we have the Rufus tool. I'm gonna close the browser, and I'm gonna actually close that as well, and that as well. I don't really need to have all of this opened. Then select the drive that you want to create the bootable device on, and I recommend unplugging other USB drives just so you don't mistakenly choose a wrong one. Then here we need to click on select, then select our ISO file, so it'll probably be in the downloads, as you can see here, and click on open. Then it will start scanning the image. It may take a moment. After that moment, you can click on start, and here there are two things that you can do. So you can remove the requirement for 4 GB plus RAM, secure boot, and TPM 2.0, but your MSI Stealth surely has that, meets the requirements, so you don't have to remove it. But you also may remove requirement for an online Microsoft account if you don't want to log in with a mandatory Microsoft account. And if you remove it, then you can't connect to network. You can, but you shouldn't connect to network in the setup after Windows is installed. You shouldn't connect to the network, because if you do, then you will need to log into the Microsoft account. But this will just give you an option to skip the connecting to network process, and that will make you not log into the Microsoft account. But I'm not gonna remove it because some of you may have already bought the USB drive from Microsoft, or just already have it at home, so I want to make it as universal as it gets. And now we need to wait until it copies all the ISO files. It will take a moment, so you just shouldn't press on cancel or close the window, and just wait. And now, since the drive is ready, as we can see, it says it's ready, we can unplug the USB drive. Then we can move on to our MSI Stealth. So I'm gonna put that laptop away, and let's go to our MSI Stealth. And before we begin, plug it into power. Then if it's already on, shut it down. I'm just gonna press and hold until the light on the power key goes off. Okay, and now we can plug in our USB drive. So let's plug it into any USB port. Then press on the power key, and we'll need to get to the one-time boot menu. In order to do it, you can either press on the F11 key repeatedly after releasing the power key, or if it doesn't work, then try pressing and holding on FN key while pressing on F11, while clicking on F11 multiple times. So I'm gonna, in my case it works while I press and hold on the FN key, then start repeatedly pressing on F11. So let's press on the power key, then FN, and in the meantime of holding the FN, F11 has to be pressed repeatedly. Now we've gotten into the one-time boot menu. So what we need to do now is just use our keyboard to select our drive. Probably the partition one will be great. Now it'll start loading into the system, and it is loaded. So here we need to select the language and the time and currency format, then click on next, then keyboard or input method, and click on next, then install Windows 11. I agree everything will be deleted, and click on next. Now it'll give us the terms, so you need to accept them in order to be able to install that. And now it'll start scanning for disks. And here, if you have more than one disk, then that's probably because you have an external disk plugged in. If you do, I recommend unplugging it, then clicking on refresh. But I only have disk 0 and disk 1, so that's great. The disk 1 is of course my USB drive, and the disk 0 is my system. So what I'm gonna do is on the system disk, I'm gonna just click on any of the partitions, then click on Alt-D on my keyboard or on the delete partition button. And you need to delete all of the partitions. Now, once you have only disk 0 unallocated space, you can click on Next. And then click on Install, and it'll start installing Windows 11, and I'll get back to you when it's installed. And now it's set up. So, now it's installed and we are getting into the setup. So let's select the country or region, then click on yes. Now select the keyboard layout or input method. Click on yes. If you want to add a second keyboard layout, you can click on add a layout, but I'm gonna skip it. And now you need to connect to the network unless you have removed the requirement for an online account. But it's still better, in my opinion, to connect to the network since it'll install the most crucial updates now. So I'm just gonna select that network and connect to it. Then click on Next. And now it'll start checking for updates. If it finds any, you don't need to worry about clicking on anything because everything will be installed automatically and it'll just get into the next step of setup. So let's just wait. And now you can name your device, but I'm gonna skip it because it actually takes, it has to restart the laptop, so I don't really want to do it now. Now it's checking for Windows updates again, and if it finds any, then this update will take longer than the previous one. And yes, it has found it, so it'll take probably much longer than the previous one. Now finally, after a moment of updating, I can sign into my Microsoft account, and so let's sign in. If you don't have one, you can create it. And now we'll be logged in. Yes. So now we need to create a PIN for our user account on the laptop to make it secure. You can also include letters and symbols, but I'm not gonna do it. And now we need to select the privacy settings, so I'm just gonna leave them as they are, but I recommend reading them yourself and reviewing because it's pretty important. Then if you have any backup on your drive, then on your on your account, on your Microsoft account, then you will see this screen. If you don't see it, then you most probably don't have any backup. But if you do, then you can either click on continue to restore from that backup or click on more options to choose a different backup, or what I'm gonna do is set up as new PC. Then it'll ask you for a few additional things which are not as important. And now you can select what do you do on your laptop, but I'm gonna skip it because I actually don't think it does anything besides customizing the advertisements. Then you can connect your phone to your PC. I'm gonna skip it, and also you can scan this second QR code to back up your photos to OneDrive. I'm gonna skip that, and I'm also gonna skip transferring the browsing data from my previous browser. Then I'm gonna decline my Microsoft 365 because it costs $130 per year. Then I'm gonna decline the basic one because it costs $2 per month. And now I'm gonna click on next to use only the free features. And now I'm all set up. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.